I need you to think about the last time you told a prospect your price. You were probably on a Zoom call, the conversation was going perfectly, and then they asked the magic question. So, what does this all cost? And instead of stating your fee clearly and confidently, your physical body betrayed you. Your palms got a little sweaty and your voice went up an octave at the end, making your price sound like an apology instead of a statement. And before they could even process the number, you immediately started justifying it. You rambled on about deliverables and revision rounds just to fill the silence. If that sounds familiar, I need you to hear this, my friend. You don't have a pricing problem. You have a confidence problem disguised as a pricing problem. Management consultants, fractional executives, and boutique agency founders are notoriously underpriced. They sell their hours instead of their outcomes, and then they let their prospects dictate the terms. And as a result, they end up resenting the very businesses that they built. I know this because I'm on calls with folks each and every week hearing about all of these turmoils. And today we're fixing that for you. And I want you to think of this as a private advisory session between you and I, just you and I sitting here together. I'm going to give you the exact pricing architecture that replaces guessing with data, fear with conviction, and negotiation with absolute alignment. Let's get to work. I'm Luis Baez. I've spent over 15 years in sales leadership and revenue enablement, and I was recruited to work at major tech companies like LinkedIn, Google, Uber, Tesla, where I contributed over 600 million in revenue impact. And now I work with management consultants, fractional executives, and boutique agency founders who are tired of defending their value. I help them build revenue architecture so they can catch the whale, not the anchovies. Everything that I'm about to share is the exact pricing framework that we install inside the Booked Busy Paid Accelerator. This is not theory, my friend. This is actual practice and data. Let's get into it. If I were looking at your pricing model right now, I'd probably see you charging by the hour or pricing a custom project based on how long you think it's going to take to finish. When you sell your hours, you're actively punishing yourself for being efficient. You've spent decades mastering your craft. What takes you 2 hours to solve might save a company $2 million. And if you charge by the hour, then you're only getting paid for those 2 hours. That's the hustle culture mathematics. It forces you to work more hours just to hit your revenue goals, which means your weekends belong to your clients and not your family or friends. The other massive mistake is the single price proposal. So you send a document with a take it or leave it price. And when you do that, the client's brain only has one question to answer. Do I want to spend this money or not? And usually their instinct is to negotiate you down to floor. They start treating you like a disposable vendor instead of a premium advisor. I worked with a fractional CFO named Adrian. 13 years of experience, former VP of finance at two venture backed startups. We're talking about the kind of operator that CEOs build their boards around. And she was charging 250 an hour. When I asked her why, she told me, well, that's what fractional CFOs charge in my market. She had benchmarked herself into a ceiling because she was pricing herself against her peers instead of pricing against the transformation that she delivered. We rebuilt her pricing architecture in a single session, broken out into three tiers: sustain, standard, and soar. Tier two anchored at $30,000 for a 90-day strategic engagement that delivered a seven-figure ROI for her clients. No hourly rate, no negotiation, just a clean tiered proposal that reframed the entire conversation. 90 days later, she had closed three of those engagements. Same Adrian, same expertise, completely different architecture. Here's exactly how we did it. Go grab a pen, get your note taker fired up because I am about to break it down for you, my friend. Part one of this pricing architecture is establishing the value anchor. You have to stop talking about what you do and start talking about the transformation and what it's worth. If your methodology helps a client close an extra $500,000 a year, then your service isn't a $10,000 expense, it's a $500,000 asset. Before you ever reveal a price, you have to get the client to agree on the value of the problem. You simply ask them, what's the problem costing you right now? When they admit it's costing them $1 million in lost revenue, your fee becomes a logical investment. You anchor your price to their transformation, not your time. Once the value is anchored, we move into part two, and that's the value altitude framework. You're never going to send a single price proposal ever again, my friend. You're going to offer three tiers, and I want you to think of it as air travel. Coach, business, and first class all get you to the exact same destination. And the difference is the experience, the speed, and the proximity to the pilot. You'll architect three levels of access to your genius. Tier one is your sustain tier. That's your foundational price, and it delivers the core transformation with less of you, less direct one on one time. Tier two is your standard tier, and this is your anchor price. It includes the full transformation with dedicated advisory support from you. And then tier three is your soar tier. That's the premium experience. It includes speed, exclusivity, and heavy done with you partnership. Part three is where the psychology does the heavy lifting for you. When you present the sustain, standard, and soar tiers, you completely shift the client's brain. They stop asking, should I hire them? And start asking, which level of support do I want? Usually, the premium price of the soar tier makes the standard tier look completely reasonable. The standard tier becomes the obvious and safe choice. You're no longer defending a single number, you're empowering them to choose their own experience. And when they choose, the negotiation is over because they pick the path. They're in control. And this is how you protect your margins. And more importantly, how you keep your Fridays completely protected. Here's the bottom line, my friend. Sales is an exchange of emotion. If you're nervous when you say your price, the client will be nervous when they hear it. But confidence isn't loud, it's precise. When you stop selling hours and start selling the sustain, standard, and soar tiers, you take your power back. You stop being a vendor. You become the architect of their success. And the gap between making $100,000 and $500,000 in revenue a year isn't about finding more clients. It's about pricing the clients that you have correctly. If you're ready to stop guessing at your prices and you want my eyes on your offer architecture, we need to have an alignment call. It's just a conversation, no pitch, just you and I looking at where you are, what's holding you back, and whether the booked busy paid accelerator makes sense for you. Go to bookedbusypaid.com and book a time directly on my calendar. This is Unhustling, where we build slower, breathe deeper, and still get it all done on our terms. I'm Luis Báez, and I'm in your corner.